Welcome. I think it goes best with the minor key blend in, but what's poppin'? What's good? What's good for it? 11, 11:19. Wicked. Thank you for chiming in, brother. Thank you for chiming in. Jashola, yeah. It's good to see you again. Yeah, it's beautiful afternoon right now. It's like not even maybe 10, 9, 9:30, 9 o'clock. I don't know. Time isn't real. I think I'm going to borrow a guitar off someone I know. Dude, that's awesome. That sounds like an exceptional idea. Truly, exceptional idea. Truthfully, like what an incredible opportunity. Borrowing a Martin. My good friend has a really nice Martin. They sound very nice. What's going on, Cool Kid? What's going on, friend? Alright, let's transition to the minor key here. Good to see you fresh. Grateful for this beautiful day. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yo, thank you so much, Rain. Yeah, no, no. I think I'm even. My sleep's been kind of weird. It's like I woke up at like 7 o'clock, which I don't usually wake up at. So I'm almost thinking I'm a bit sleep deprived, but I also got extra sleep yesterday, so I think I may have laid over where I'm just like feeling very rested. I can sense it's a little bit off. Whoa. That's in the right key, though. That's in the right key. Whoa. Not looking. Playing wrong keys. Wicked. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. What's going on, Ben? What's going on? What's going on, my friend? Yes, yes. Words. Whoa. Phone is doing a weird little flip. Do you ever fast to cleanse your body and mind? Sometimes, not very often though. Actually, when I do fast, what I usually do is if I wake up some days and I just write music or get in like a songwriting session, I'll usually then just songwrite for like, 4 or 5 hours and then I just won't eat. Yeah, I'll just go into a songwriting or guitar fast. That's what I sometimes do, but I don't really formally fast a lot. I need to make it into some sort of joke though. Ah, I mean, sure, yeah. Humor's great, brother. I saw a video of a guy playing the piano from inside and outside. I mean, not everything needs to be a joke, but of course, it can be. Never fast with that was when I pinned inside out. It was crazy good. From inside and outside. I've heard of this, yeah. I've actually, yeah. If you like open this thing and pluck the strings, I think that's not very good for the piano, but I also don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. Ikadashi. Ikadashi. Fasting before full new moons. Ah. Yeah, we're on a very interesting lunar cycle, my friends. Today actually, the planets are aligning. Like quite literally. It's like all the planets, they're doing a straight line. Apparently it happens every like, I don't know. It's not gonna happen again for like a long time. Good stuff. Well, thank you, Rain. Yeah, I think I'm getting pretty good. Yeah, yeah. It's funny. I've only been playing piano for like 2.5 years, but at most. But I don't know. The 16 years of guitar helps. Absolutely. Been going to tie it to my old Soundgarden tuning video. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know. I'm a strong advocate in the realm of content creation of just I don't know, like creating, forging the new path, like trying to step into like the next bold step of creation, right? Trying to almost like create high quality content that really is just good content, high quality content on YouTube. That's not how I see how I perceive what I desire to create. It's just like there's many different ways to succeed. I'm curious what will happen if we put piano strings on a guitar. Not a whole lot, brother. Not a whole lot. Yeah, I don't think anything. I don't think nothing good will happen. Piano strings are very different. Very different. Very different. Very different strings. Yeah. One's steel, one's not steel. Yeah, nothing good, I have to say. I'm about to step back into making genuine guitar education videos. Not as short formats, but as long formats. That's excellent. That's cool, bro. Yeah. I've yet to crack code, but I think high quality, like engaging titles, like really just well placed titles is the key to long format. Also having a large subscription base. But in my very limited experience, yeah, just bang out long formats and get a good, intelligently woven title. Just create a good title, make the title relevant, make the title cohesive with the video, and then bang. I don't know. I'm not a pro. The actors I can't remember his name from the movie 500 Days of Summer. Ah, that kind of reminds me. I still haven't seen that movie August Rush, which I only know of because of my viewers. Not looking. Let's see, or at least it feels like. Bro, do we think of this time? What do you think of this time doesn't exist? Clocks exist. Yes, yes, yes. Mention something relative to this. Would love to listen. Well, I mean, I think it's clear. Like, if I don't go too deep down this rabbit hole, for the sake of presence. Basically, time doesn't exist because there's only the present experience, because everything's happening all at once, always. It's like the quantum realm. Like it's like the quantum theory that's also rooting the idea that we're quantum particles. Everything's unwritten, everything's unknown, everything's a neutral entity that's happening all at once. Every possibility that you could envision is happening all at once. This is true. This is actually, I genuinely believe this is how it works. So if we believe time is real, we're like, oh yeah, past, present, future, right? Which is perception that we see. Like we perceive past, present, and future because we're in the 3D, right? We see the three. We see, we're existing in that sort of three current rule. But obviously, time is just a thing we perceive. In the larger construct, things like in the quantum, where everything's infinite, time's obviously not real. So obviously, we can transcend time. We can recognize that the present moment is actually all there ever is. The moment we direct our energy into something, we make it so. And that's why the present moment is all that ever is. Past, futures doesn't really exist. It's a weird thing to think about, but it's the reality of how things actually operate. Only in this 3D human plane do we actually think time exists, because we have this sort of reference point, because we've created that, and that's it's useful, but it's not how things are. We're only in the present. Yeah, it's like we think of that philosophically. Like you think it's such a beautiful philosophical sentiment. Like it's like, damn, present moment's all it is. But it actually is true. Like if you think of it on a quantum level, the present moment is actually all that ever is. Like right now, this second. Like everything that we're doing, it's like this, you're making it, you're reinforcing it, you're, epistemalizing it, you're making it so. And that's the point. We can make infinite parallels and anything. You can do whatever you want, more or less. right now. Like, there's infinite possibilities of what I could do. And that's the way. Yeah. Yeah, time is way beyond us. Yeah. What's good, Daryl? What's good, brother? You're asking something. We're only in the present. Yes, sir. Do you have a pair of boots with laces or sneakers? I do not. Yeah, no. I only wear barefoot shoes. Yeah, minimalist shoes. Yeah. We haven't even mastered how sound is perceived by the human ears completely. That's the funny thing. Yeah, that's the thing is like, if we understand the quantum, like, if we're just gonna level with each other here, it's like the quantum. The thing beyond the 99.99%, the non-material, the realm that we access in lucid dreams, it's the realm we access in altered states of consciousness. It's the quantum, right? Going into deep meditation, bang, you can somehow eventually access the quantum if you go really deep. Yeah. What was my point? Blah, 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 with that. There's in relation to what you're saying. Oh, yes. Sensory experiences. Auditory experiences. What we hear. We think there's just a scale of notes, right? We as humans are like, oh, yeah, there's seven notes in a scale and all these octaves, all these keys. Amazing stuff that humans discovered. Humans are really brilliant. But obviously sound is way more multidimensional. Like sound, what we can hear, what we can see, what we can feel, all of our sensory restraints are just simply that. They're sensory restraints, right? Everything on the deepest level is much, much more vast. Once we remove sensory restraints, like say you enter a lucid dream. When you're in a lucid dream, you can quintessentially enter higher dimensions. The higher, like beyond the 3D to the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8D, and etc., where you become the creator. You can experience heightened sensations. You can experience, hyperlucidity, like things that are just more real than this reality. And that kind of just shows us that, yeah, this is all not real. It's a dream. Humans have been mastered. Yeah. But all I can say is sound is beautiful. Like everything that we know and we experience as humans that we've discovered, pretty cool stuff. Bro, I wish I streamed my chat. I wish when I streamed my chat wasn't dead. Yeah. I was thinking about this the other day, Floyd, where it's like I don't know why I was thinking about this, but it's kind of in relation to, I think, where you might find yourself. I've been streaming for about 3.5 months. 3.5 months, right? Maybe like 4 tops. 4 months. Like that's the entirety of my streaming career so far. And in those 4 months, 3.5 maybe, I don't know, I've been probably successful. Like I've had successful streams where I'm getting like maybe 700, maybe 1,000 views, maybe just beyond, maybe 2,000, I don't know. And I'm getting like a popping off chat probably like 3 weeks, maybe 3 weeks out of those entire like 4 months, right? Or 3.5 months, whatever. I'm telling you, 3 weeks. That's the entirety that I've had successful streams. And those came in bursts. And I'm telling you, all up into those points, my streams were dead. They were dead. They just weren't, chat wasn't popping off. Views weren't popping off. I'd get 1 or 2 fleeting views. So, yeah, it's, the algorithm of streaming is weird. But, there's something to it, and I just consistently stream. I stream like, multiple times a day. And I have for like 3 months. I love it. It works well for me. But the essence of it is basically like, it's, it takes a lot of persistence, but once the algorithm processes you, it like, the algorithm sort of builds momentum, you build a viewer base, then it's like, of course, it's all just a momentous wave. But yeah, it takes patience, innately. I don't know, I just love streaming. I literally, for the first while I was streaming, I was literally just chilling in the forest alone with like maybe a few viewers playing guitar, writing music. Like the first few songs, I've spoken this openly. The song that I wrote that's called We Are Born Alone, We Die Alone, that's literally me sitting in a forest when I was new to streaming, writing a song based on the raw energy of feeling alone and was being okay with it. I'm like, this is beautiful. But it was like, that was literally the energy of being like, wow, my streams are empty. I'm playing here for myself, sitting in the forest. I'm enjoying this moment. That's like a testament to, it takes persistence. That's why I'm like euphoric when I'm like, wow, look at me now. I'm actually succeeding in streams somewhat, you know? And I intend to take that to a very high place. It's been weeks, if not months, of persistence to get to this point. And I'm pretty proud, but also I have a very high vision. You know, I'm humble to be like, you know what, I'm gonna go way further. And plus, the key thing with succeeding in YouTube, you know, I probably said this once or twice, is you need to be intentional. You need to be extraordinarily intentional. You need to have a vision. You know, you can't just kind of stumble backwards like, okay, what are we gonna do today? This, I mean, you can, but like, you need to be really intentional. You need to be a visionary. You need to like, you know, really have a large intention for what you desire to do. Like, have a vision and be ambitious. Be ambitious with it, because that's it's gonna be important. It's gonna, you know, show up in every single way that you are presenting and engaging. Yo, can you play Gabron? No idea who that is, my friend. No idea. But yeah, I'll check him out though. Shaban Shalom. Good afternoon. What's good, brother? What's good? Appreciate you, dog. I'm gonna talk. The sound is the universal language. It is. Yeah. Like, even if I'm speaking words, right? You're hearing the words I'm saying. But what are you really listening to? What are you really feeling, right? You're feeling the resonance pattern. Like, you know, if I'm like slowing down my thought stream, right? I'm just like, you know, welcome to this live stream, my friends. I'm happy that you're here. You know, we are in this existence together. I hope you're honoring your somatic body, honoring yourself, honoring each other. You know, it's the resonance pattern of my voice. That changes, right? This is you're hearing like the sound. The sound is the resonance behind my voice. It's present in music. It's present in vocalization. It's present in verbalization. Yeah, words are cool. Language is a sense, a higher plane. Yeah. That's the thing, is it can be. It can be. Absolutely can be. What were you scooping out of the cup? I was drinking cacao. Yes, cacao, my friend. Just raw theobromine, baby. But yeah, I think language is a higher channel. It's a higher portal. But of course, we're humans, right? We have free will. Language can be also a bridge into the lower portals, you know, the lower vibrations, right? You know, it's like in a healthy sense where you can root yourself, you know, with language that's rooted within your root chakra. But also, of course, language can distort, it can misconcept, it can dilute, it can, yeah, fragment. Language is basically what we infuse within our intentions, which again, resonance patterns. This is what YouTube Shorts Live was made for. Hell yeah, brother. I like to reinvent the wheel. I'm gonna I don't know, we're forging something. We're forging something beautiful here that's different. Hey Ashay, I'm here to be entertained. Very good, very good. I mean, I'm here to entertain too. I'm here to be entertaining myself. It's great, let's see how that works. Once we start talking higher planes and stuff, the algorithm shifts itself. Shadow ban, but if you do weird stuff, entertaining stuff, views will spike. Maybe so. You speak of this openly, Jeshola. I mean, maybe you're onto something. Maybe you are correct. But I'm inclined to disagree. You know, I think, sure, you could say a shadow ban exists. You speak of higher vibrations, this, that, the other. Maybe. Maybe that is something that the algorithm, for some reason, doesn't look fondly on. But I'd be inclined to disagree. I think it actually more has to do with understanding YouTube as a whole. Like, it doesn't matter if you're speaking about, you know, the 8 dimensions or 9 dimensions of consciousness, or the 8 Ds or 9 Ds. We're talking about metaphysical philosophy. It doesn't matter if you're talking about, I don't know, spiritual dimensions. You know, you could talk about, maybe if you talk about like psychedelic drugs, they could be like, oh no, we're talking about drugs. So maybe you got to be mindful with your language of that, like precision of language. But I actually don't think that the YouTube algorithm is is less favorable to speaking about spiritual, open-minded concepts. It's honestly, it's what I do. A majority of my whole my whole image is. But of course, I'm a musician. I'm here to teach people how to spiritually connect, like connect the sacred context in music. Create meditative journeys, create a safe space, create a safe community where people are inspiring each other, where people are growing and lifting each other, right? And I think very simply, if I'm going to be blatantly honest, and this is a little bit blunt, but fact of the matter is, if you're feeling like you're shadow banned, it's probably because your content's not very high quality, and that's okay. And it's not even that it's high quality; it's not being successfully given to the viewers. You're not reaching your viewers successfully. You're not working with the algorithm. You're not working with YouTube's algorithm. YouTube doesn't just shadow ban people, right? They're not just like, oh no, this guy's speaking about, enlightenment, let's ban him. That's not really what YouTube. I mean, I'm not an expert on YouTube, but I'm telling you, YouTube doesn't have time to shadow ban people. What YouTube does have time to do is unsuccessfully deliver or fail to deliver high quality content to your viewers. That's up to you. That's for you to figure out. That's for you as a YouTuber or whatever you desire to be. Maybe just as a creator of any sort. It's like it's a tricky thing to actually understand how to understand the algorithm and how to have it, really just work for you. So yeah, there's a greater chance you're not being shadow banned because of what you're talking about. When you talk about, incredible, open-minded, enlightening things, you could probably talk about brain rot nonsense, and you're going to be favored the same way. You probably shouldn't talk about brain rot nonsense, and nobody needs that. But the fact of the matter is, you got to understand how to study YouTube, and you have to understand that YouTube wants to deliver your content to your audience, but you have to help it. You have to study YouTube. You have to understand the algorithm. You have to work with the algorithm. And if you're not, you're going to fail all the same, right? Anyway, how many regular and casual viewers on your channel? Honestly, I have no idea, bro. I've never checked it out. I haven't looked at that metric. All I'm looking at is watch hours, and all I'm looking at is view hours in relation to watch hours. I haven't looked at much of the metrics. I know it's good. I know it's growing. It's positive, constantly growing. Honestly, but that's the thing, bro. For the last week, before the last 4 days, my channel was it was dead for a solid week, maybe a week and a half. It was for whatever reason, my viewership just declined, which is okay because for 2.5, 3 weeks, it was going strong, and then declined for a week and a bit. And then it started going strong again the last 4 days. So personally, I don't really focus on the metrics per se. I'm just focused on creating high quality content and engaging, being present with my viewers and consistently showing up. And that seems to translate. That seems to translate into more viewers, higher quality content.
And put it in the bathroom.
Yeah. Let's see. I know these people who have been watching my channel since the beginning stayed for 3+ months. What's of that? Not even 6+. What's of that? What's of that? I don't know. Yeah, it's again. I don't have I don't really know the direct answer to why people do or do not stay. But I think the essence of it, this is the same thing. It's kind of clear as day. People like the human experience. People like to, they like to resonate with something, with somebody, with your vision. This is where it all comes down to sort of I think it's important to have a very ambitious vision and intention. If you have a vision, a powerful intention that people can stand behind, they're like, oh wow, this guy's trying to, teach people guitar or inspire people to do this, or maybe inspire people to, I don't know, be authentic or whatever, whatever it is you desire to really just bring forth in the best of people. People are going to want to stick around for that. They're going to want to be a part of that community, right? It's community building, It's community building, brother. It's not a, there's many different ways to do it, but I think it's why people stick around, why people are drawn is it's a community building thing and intention. Complex language is a blessing and a curse. I mean, yeah. Here's the thing. I agree. We should not desire to intellectualize. It's if you're trying to communicate and all you do is intellectualize to death, you're just but you don't really understand the weight of your words. You don't understand the context of your words. You don't understand, how to hold space and how to absorb and listen. Like you don't understand various nuances of the language itself, then surely it can be a true curse. I'll be honest, I think in my experience, um, the way to really master the art of speaking really just comes down to balance. It comes to balance. Like if you want to speak, philosophical and intricately, if you want to have some beautiful background, if you want to speak very philosophical and intricate, right? Then I think personally it's good to balance that, with just being real, with being casual, with being like informal, if you will, being like blah, 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 but also, just have fun. Because I think if you're just trying to, be so intellectualized, like you're just trying to like, yeah, I'm speaking words and, you're layering out all these beautiful words, but you're not having fun with it. You're not being playful. You're not, you're taking yourself so seriously. Let's be real here. One of the most fundamental, um, I'd say, dimensions of being like awake or being like, I'd say more integrated in a spiritual sense is basically just not taking life so seriously. It's being able to laugh at yourself, being able to laugh at everything. Be like, damn, this is all hilarious. This is all great. So it's like, I think it's really important to, yeah, not take yourself so seriously in general. And I think as in the language, that's a perfect like illustration of that. You can use big words and be all verbose and articulate and intellectualized, but it's also good to just like not take yourself seriously, just have fun. Have fun with the language of the human language, because language is fun, you know? I've been using the word dope since I was like since I was like 15 years old, and I'm gonna use it to the day I die. Like, it's just like shit's dope, bro. it's like speak however the hell you want. Like it's great. Language is it's a beautiful thing. Electron collapse. And oh yeah, I remember you speaking this. So I'm curious, have you come across the double slit experiment, electron collapse of a wave function? Just asking this because you mentioned quantum. I recall you referring to that experiment the other day. Another time. Assuming I won't get history, of course. Yeah, but I'm not sure what your understanding of quantum is. I think as you explained, you're kind of pointing to the scientific if you could elaborate off of that, I would love to hear that. But when I'm talking about the quantum, I've been very clear with what I mean by that. And it's not that complex. I mean, it's complex, but it's well studied. Quantum theory, what quantum particles are. If you understand what those things are, like on a simple scientific but also fundamental level, then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, the one with the gold. Complex language, blah 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 blah. What's with that? Huh. I'm not sure which gold's gold. I don't know. Yeah. What genre do you generally mess around with to make stuff? Uh, Now, a majority of what I create, I would call it like almost like sound journeys. Like I make like almost like I make like, yeah, like orchestrated sound journeys, like similar to like orchestra, like an orchestrated, almost like movie scores. But I also make psychedelic rock, I make punk rock, I make alt rock. I've made metal before. I've made like post-core punk rock before. I don't have an electric guitar right now, so I can't do that. So I make pretty much everything that you can think of. At least that's genres that, resonate with me. All right, I'm getting your point on the shadow band topic, and I'm listening and learning, and you're grateful for this as well. Yeah, no, that's the thing, Jishola, is like, I say this with raw enthusiasm and excitement. Like, I say this with like, because I'll be honest, I'm a guy that made the same transition where I was like, oh shit, like, maybe I didn't have all the answers. Maybe I didn't understand how YouTube works. Maybe I was looking at this all wrong. And when I realized that, it's an exciting reality where you're like, oh, word, wait a second. YouTube isn't probably shadow banning you. You can grow a community that's open-minded, of like-minded individuals that will honor you, that will honor your mission, honor your vision, honor your passion. You can. But of course, again, you're being treated the same as any given person who's trying to grow a brand and a channel on YouTube. And that's not easy. That's not easy. It takes persistence. It takes open-mindedness. It takes like an ability to be curious and explore and experiment. You got to realize that YouTube is it's the top tier. It's the top tier thing. Like it's not easy to succeed. It has a high learning curve. All the best things in life have high learning curves though. So it's good and bad news. It's good where it's like, oh, wick, wicked. You can succeed. Like you should. Whatever you're passionate about to want to grow, if it's like an open-minded, really cool, I don't know, spiritual type, XYZ, whatever you want to do, community, that can succeed. There are viewers for you. You can succeed in that. But of course, you're subject to the same level of success that any of us have, which is not very high. Let's be real. The success rate in YouTube is very low. But don't be discouraged. Don't be discouraged. With persistence, I'm a perfect example. This channel started 7 months ago, and I'm well on my way.
Ryan, you need to be a little bit more mindful of what I mean by I start my session at 10:30. I don't mean you
Yeah.
have until 10:30, right?
Yeah. No, I'll be on aware of that.
You need to finish up pretty much any minute. I don't
All right.
know.
I'm in the middle of things. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Well,
Thank you. I got you.
people have to rest. You're kind of pushing it, right?
Again, 7 minutes time. Yeah.
That's
This was the intent. This is the whole idea from the start. I wasn't. Anyways, I don't know. Okay, thank you for sharing your concerns. Peace, brother. Yeah, no, we're getting back to the array of topic. For Gold's experiment, I was taught something different, but not actually the double slit experiment. And welcome, friends. We're back in my studio. We're back away from the piano room. And it's a beautiful day, and we're probably going to take our stream to the outside world pretty soon. Just going to grab some cacao and then, yeah, go for a walk. That'll do. Quantum just meaning small qualities, and I think the word has meaning definitions we agree upon. Quanta. Yeah. I mean, we're talking about quantum, not quanta. I mean, I'm curious of your application for quanta, but yeah. Quantum as in quantum particles, quantum theory, which does have a very specific meaning. First X-ray bombarded, cathode ray bombarded. Huh. Gold vibration changes, and later look at the human subject. Casting in motion, the interesting vibration of gold changes too. Huh. Interesting. Be well, Floyd, if you're still kicking.
I haven't had any sessions all week. This is a 1-hour window. I'm not
Cool.
going to tell you again. I can't have you doing this during our session.
I'm gonna go for a walk. Thank you for your concern again. Really appreciate you. Master puppets on piano. Wow. Wow. Again, I'm going for a walk, dude.
Goodbye. I'm not, dude. Stop. Stop.
Greetings, greetings. One moment here. Wow. It's radiant out here. Just grab me some cacao. Be on my way. Magic. Helicopters. Yes, that's for me, bruv. No, actually, that's actually such a fun part of being in Westwood. It's a very lively helicopter zone. I love helicopters. I actually have told myself I want to get myself a helicopter one day. Yeah, this is a true story. I've told myself I'm gonna get a helicopter probably before I get myself like some really nice car. I would much rather have a helicopter. But that's yeah. Okay. Very nice. That is exactly right. Going on our way. NT something something number. This is not a religious or political channel, so it's a music channel, my friend. There we are. I think we're all a bit more balanced here. Wow. Data one. That's fun. It's funny, I find when I was new to streaming, it was often when I would go and rove to the forest. That was kind of where I would get the most views or get the most engagement. But now that I have like a regular sort of viewership, it seems that when I'm just chilling at home, you know, just making music, doing studio recording stuff, that seems to be when most people are just like, you know, engaged, just vibing, which kind of makes sense. Sing Fast Car. Not a clue in the world what that song is, but thank you for sharing, brother. Nature is my library. I spend solitude time always. That's amazing. Yeah, nature is bliss. I'm honestly very fortunate to live very close to nature. Yeah, you guys will see, if you've seen my channel, I've recorded a few songs where I've made like little music videos where I'm just kind of chilling in nature. And this is where we're about to go to. Oh, word, it's a bird. It's a local Canadian bird. Oh, there he goes. A lot of mountain birds out here. Pretty grand.
I've actually had this idea. Let me know how you think of this. Is what I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna make shorts as I usually do, where I basically just break down riffs. So I'd be like chilling here and be like, do this. Be like, all right, so what I did here is I began here on the 5th fret, 5th string, did a tapping to the 7th, now moved to the 4th string, did a tapping on the 5th and 7th, and then I slid up here, did a slap harmonic on the 12th. Say if I do that, but I do that while I'm walking. I don't know if that's a better quality content or more engaging. So say if I'm doing all that, like I'm making content. All right, so what's going on? So I'm doing this, and then I did this riff here, but then while I'm walking, wherever I'm going, I feel like that's an idea I want to execute. Just make a bunch of shorts while I'm walking around. Observing your neighbors kind of looks like BC. It's true. This is British Columbia, my friend. You nailed it. This is BC. Beautiful British Columbia, as they like to say it on the license plates for some reason. Hello, greetings from Poland. That's amazing, brother. Blessings from Canada to Poland. Bro, my pan flute is made from Poland. The wooden instrument I have is actually straight from Poland, so shout out Poland. Honestly, you guys make beautiful Romanian knives. This is true. I love harmonics and tapping. That's legendary, bro. That's the thing I've realized is I've really leaned away from basically making shorts, because as much as I like shorts, and they've served me when I'm new, like very new to this YouTube realm, I feel like I want to focus lives and long format as much as humanly possible. But for me, I basically just have to create little blips about talking about tapping and talking about harmonics, and then I can get really good views without fail. But to me also, I want to make content that's like high quality and is engaging, and it's just fun. Oh dude, check this out. Look at this. It's a beautiful mountain of British Columbia. It's snowy. Wicked. Look at that. Man, Google Pixel phones, I gotta say, Google Pixel phones, they're limited, for space as they are, because you can only use, can't use micro SDs, but they're beautiful. Video quality, the whole quality in general, it's great. I gotta say, I'm a fan of the Google Pixel. Wow. This though, yes sir. Bro, I know, it's this. Just this. The birds just going off. This is what it's all about, my friends. Just in an open field, have a guitar. That's all you need. That's all you really need. Can you play Yurima River? It flows in you. Don't play other musics, but you would match the vibe. Honestly, yeah, I'm not familiar with that song. Yeah. It's primarily, as a original and improv artist, I just don't spend time learning other covers. For the first 6-7 years of my life, as a guitarist, that's all I did. I covered so much stuff. And fast forward 10 years, all I've now spent time on is making original music and doing improv, strengthening my ability to channel improv. So yeah, I'm sure I could cover pretty much anything, but I don't desire to. It bores me to tears, so to speak. Wow, bro. Yeah. Plus, this is a live stream, This live stream is the experience. Wow. I'm here to set the tone of the experience I desire to create. This is magic. For now, I'm just doing improvisation, yeah. There's a few songs I'm working on that I wrote last week, but they're kind of tricky to perform, yeah. Welcome to the beautiful mountains of British Columbia. But yeah, I'll be happy to play some improvisation. But as it is, again, like the songs that I've written last week, they're pretty tricky. Like again, if I wasn't live streaming full time and training and juggling many other things in my life, I could probably, just hang about and just bang out these original songs. But I don't spend all day just, working on recordings and studio recordings. Some days maybe, but it's not really my thing. Very nice. Really grateful to be seeing this environment. Happy to have you, my dog. Happy to have you here. Yeah, let's flip this. If I'm on horizontal, it's even nicer. Yeah, this is basically my backyard here. Go here every day. This is usually the path I take if I'm doing magic mushrooms. This is the path less taken. It's a very mossy, very beautiful, sort of overgrown part. And then here is where we enter the river. Yeah. Man, the birds though, they're just stoked on life. It's beautiful. Like how can you not just be just enchanted? The birds, bruv, they're just so great. They're just so great. The US is so dystopian compared to Canada. That's bizarre, yeah, this is a very specific part of Canada, but it's the river, yeah. But I must agree, British Columbia, because that's the thing is, without going too deep in that rabbit hole, it's like, British Columbia is like one of the greenest parts of all of Canada. A lot of Canada is pretty nice, but it's weird, honestly, this is just where I've been born, right? I don't leave British Columbia a whole lot. I'd like to, when I become a full-time YouTuber, I just want to travel the world. But British Columbia, it's actually insane if you think about it. It's most of it's just hot springs. It's like massive valleys. Like if you look on the map of what British Columbia is, it's just this giant, forest boreal place. I live in, Coquitlam, which is like the suburban, the little city, the main city, but British Columbia is massive. It's genuinely massive. There's if you go north and you reach the Rocky Mountains and you keep going higher and higher and higher, it's basically endless, untouched forests, freaking hot springs, forest, valleys, endlessly. It's literally, you could basically travel all around British Columbia and you could just go on a little vacation around British Columbia because the place is massive. Don't get me wrong, there is cities, of course. The city is very dense. It's like a city. It's it's Canada. It's Canada cities. But then there's also, not city. Accidentally exited the stream, and then we're back. In general, it's like life. You're meant to be surrounded by forests. That's the metaphor. That's all there is. It's like how could you forget this? How could we wanna not just be around this? Because that's kind of a core thing. I'm just going off on a billion tangents, but I speak of this often when I do cold plunges. It makes sense because I'm chilling in nature, plunging into the primal rivers. We as human beings desire the primal. We are disconnected from the primal essence that is us. We're primal beings, right? A lot of us, we've become disconnected to this beautiful, beautiful primal context, this primal essence that, is ancient. Especially as men. Like, as men, we're primal beings. We need to just be, we got to be just be primal beings. A lot of us, we don't. We don't connect to that. That beautiful primal nature. Oh, damn. Gotta tighten this baby up. I don't know, it's just my experience. I remember traveling to Canada, and it's just cleaner. That's cool. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. We live in very interesting times. Like, I don't want to go off in the tangent, but a lot of people on Facebook, this is how I hear my news. People are expressing that, I guess, America's at war or something, doing missiles, something. It might be a lot of it's just propaganda, conspiracies. I'm sure it's harrowing reality, but I don't know. I'm happy to be in happy old Canada. I'm happy. I'm happy to be in blissful ignorance at this time. I'm just chilling in forest, being a silly YouTuber guy with a guitar. It's a good time. It's a good time to just be like, okay, goodbye, society. Goodbye. I'm just gonna chill in the forest and play guitar and I don't know, just grow my YouTube. That feels like the way. Do you think the water is cleansing the soul? Absolutely, Rain. It is. Whether you're plunging into these waters, whether you're listening to it, you can actually drink this water if you have like a life straw, like a filter. But yeah. Hobos dying. The U.S. is so dystopian compared to Canada. Hobos dying, rolling to the earth. That's the thing is, bro. Okay. This is the weird polarity that is Canada. This is the weird-ass contrast that is BC. And I'll tell you this right now. You may be familiar with something called Skid Row. Basically, there's a part of Vancouver. Like, I live in Coquitlam, so I'm not in Vancouver. I go and visit Vancouver all the time. But you may be familiar. There's YouTubers that cover this. This is all over the news. British Columbia, Vancouver, has the highest population of junkies, of drug addicts. Like, if you go into a part of Vancouver, Vancouver's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. Beautiful everywhere. Then there's random alleys. There's random parts where it's literally nonstop drug addicts. Like, insane, like, the most harrowing, the most polarizing, like, sad reality of drug addicts is, like, there's literally specific sections of Vancouver where that's literally, like, you could just walk down the wrong street and bang, you're surrounded by, like, hundreds of junkies. It's very sad. It's actually, like, so British Columbia has hobos. It has junkies. It has, unfortunately, but that's a small concentration. That's the thing, is most of British Columbia is beautiful, but unfortunately, I don't know why, Vancouver just happens to have that contrasting dimension where we also have a very high population of drug users that all live in a very concentrated area. And it's very sad. It's like, it's the poverty stricken area. It's the people that are mentally ill. It's like, it's a very dark place. I've gone down there many times. I'm just like, wow, this is very sobering. Like, when you see like the downtown east side, that's what it's called. It's like the most sobering reality ever. We're just like, wow, I'm blessed to have what I have, because there are people that in Vancouver that live on this downtown east side that are living in literal hell. Like, it's like their life is hell. They're addicted to this, that, the other. They're just like the quintessential example of people that have been destroyed by substance. So yeah, there's polarity everywhere. Like, I'm fortunate to live in Coquitlam. I live far away from that area. But yeah, the reality is, humans, we are living contrasts. We are living polarized beings. We are living contradictions in some rights. Like, that's just the nature of it. We're in the 3D. We are the dark and the light. Anyways, the sound of the rippling brook. Yeah, let's return. Let's return back to this blissful, rose tinted lens ASMR. Got people and their dogs, just hopping through the park all happy. And we're just like, everything's just all bliss. I mean, yeah, it is pretty cool. I love this place. This is often where I spend many hours. You know, if I'm on mushrooms, I'm basically just wandering these forests. Because the wild thing is, once you walk through, see this place up here, right? You walk up there, there's like a path. Once you go up to that path, you reach a crossroads. Once you cross that crossroads, you basically enter unlimited forests for the end of Canada. Like that's the thing. This is a Westwood Plateau. In Coquitlam, where it's like city, you know, suburban, rural, whatever. But then when you get to this point where you cross those roads, like this is the funny thing. On mushrooms, I do this often where I'll walk over and I'm like, all right, now we're entering the endless forest portal. Basically, you could walk up these forests literally for hours upon hours, if not days, and you will continuously be going through untouched forests. It's beautiful. It's actually magical. But yeah, it's wild to think about. It's like you enter a forest that goes to a higher forest, that goes to like a dirt bike sort of mountain area, and then eventually you get to a glacier lake, and then eventually you get to another glacier lake, and then you go higher and higher and higher and higher until you're in like untouched sort of backcountry mountains, and then eventually you hit the Rocky Mountains. And this is the start. This is the beginning. Right where I'm at, this is the beginning of the ascent into the forests forever. It's great. It's very nice. I love nature. That's why I can feel this nature. Me too, brother. Me too. I'm deeply in love with this place. The birds are just like doing me justice, man. They're just like singing so beautifully. Look at this. And then you got the sun bleeding through here. Let's go over to the sun. Let's do this. This is where the forest wants us to go. Man, these birds are just happy. These are some happy birds. They're just tweeting their brains out. It's great. So beautiful. Magic, like the Australians would say. Shout out to Australia. We love you, Australia. I want to go to Australia one day. That's awesome. I love camping. I'm live in the forest 12/19. I can't sleep seeing this forest live in nature. I mean, go to sleep if you need to, brother. There's no pressure, no expectation, but we're on the other side of the world. This is Canada, where it's not even lunchtime. And yeah, perspective. Time isn't real, friends. Remember this. Time is not real. Time's not real. All right, going towards the sun. There's weed whackers. Yeah, this is where we want to be. This is where we want to be. Homelessness. It's just the U.S. is more seen as regularly. Probably, I don't know. Again, it's weird. I think Canada and US have their own independent problems. But I don't know. It's almost like Canada's homeless, you know, drug-addled population is kind of in a concentrate. You know, they live in a concentrate where like a mass majority of Canada is just clean, regular, maybe borderline insane, but well-adjusted people. Because, you know, we're a society. We're a society. The U.S. could do better with their homeless. I think so, yeah. You're very intelligent. You've got it all together. Oh, thank you. I'm trying, brother. I feel pretty blessed. Not gonna lie. I got a guitar in my hand. I'm growing a YouTube channel. I got love in my life. I got sick dance moves. You know? I got lots of good food in my orbit. It's like, that's pretty blessed, right? Whoa. You know, who needs billions of dollars when you've when you've got a guitar? Like dead ass. I wouldn't trade my ability to play guitar for all the money in the world. But of course, if I can take my ability to play guitar and, you know, make money, then hell yeah, brother. I wish I was there right now. It's so pretty. I can smell this place. Yeah, it's pretty great. Not gonna lie. We are in moss territory, surrounded by moss. This is just, yeah, this is very meditative. Just gonna find a spot to just kind of, whoa, there we go. Hell yeah. Very nice. Look at this. Walking with guitar. You know it. Well, I'm mounted. I have a guitar mounted. So basically my camera is my guitar is my camera. Yeah. I wish I was there. Yes. Yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. So I was homeless and schizophrenic, and I was, yeah, I am. It's more than a year ago. I'm proud of you, dog. I'm proud of you to truly shift. You know, I commend anyone that's able to really just like let themselves really just awaken their potential and apply themselves. You know, especially I think for a lot of us, you know, for people that are like struggling, like, you know, they're going through strife, you know, they're living their life, living a life they don't want to live. Let's be real here. You are only a allotment of choices, you know, intelligent choices away from living a radically different life. Like, you know, it's almost like I really feel it's like, but it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage and strength to shift into the unknown, you know, to adapt and shift into, yeah, the unknown waters. But, yeah, like this is, without getting too philosophical, but let's get philosophical. What the quantum is, you know, I speak of the quantum, we speak of quantum particles, you know, this, that, the other, blah, blah, blah. It's all beautiful, right? I love the quantum. I love talking about the quantum. But you know what the quantum is, right? The quantum is the unknown. The quantum is the unknown. It's what is never known. And the weird thing is, you know, you might hear this philosophically. Alan Watts speaks of this openly. Pretty much all philosophers speak of this. The unknown is where basically the greatest growth occurs. The unknown is where you want to be. You know, the known isn't, the known is kind of limited. You know, the known is kind of like what we think is in our comfort zone, is in our perceivable realm. A lot of people, we fear the unknown. We fear what we don't understand. You know, we think, the unknown is some scary, radically chaotic place. And maybe it is. Maybe it is chaotic. But the nature of it is you need to embrace the unknown. You need to embrace the chaos. The universe is chaos. The universe is unknown. You know, to resist and fear the unknown is to fear the entirety of life. Really, it's like, that's the bizarre thing. It's almost like there's no deeper truth than reclaiming your ability to just embrace the unknown. Be like, you know what? Maybe it is scary to make changes in your life. Maybe it is scary to step in unknown waters. But you know what's worse? You know what's scarier? You know, just never really growing, never really expanding. You know, sitting in the known, sitting in a comfort zone where you never get to like live in an authentic, enriched, enlivening life, right? So simply, you know, embrace the unknown. Like, let yourself see the beauty of the unknown. Let yourself honor the unknown. Honor the unknown waters. And like, that is beautiful. Yeah. Anyway. Yes. How long have you known my girlfriend? I mean, we've been together like a month and a half. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. Sure. Like, I've met people that I've slowly developed relationships with that take months. Most of the time it happens very fast. Like, I'm like, oh, yeah. Most people, they do not align with healthy relationships because they don't know what they want in life. You know, in life, in relationships, whatever, it's an extension of each other, right? They don't understand their desires. They don't understand what they want. I'll be perfectly honest. I know what I want. I know exactly what I want. Now, I'm not going to attach some sort of model or, you know, one-dimensional model, being, oh, I know exactly everything. No. But it's like, I know myself. And in reflection, I know what I desire in a romantic partnership. So for me, it's easy. Like, I'll be honest, it's not, for me, it's easy to say no to what is not aligned with me. It's very easy. For most people, for some reason, it doesn't occur that way. Oh, sun's disappearing. So yeah, it's easy also to say yes. Like, when I know someone is like aligned with me, I'm just like, yes. And I'll be honest too, how I meet most of my romantic partners is on the dance floor. I don't meet people through words. I don't meet the opposite sex or romantic partners very often through words. That's why, like, the dating app, man, what a weird time we live in. But nah, bro, where you're gonna meet the love of your life and where you're gonna meet extraordinary human beings, dance floor, baby. You gotta push yourself out of your comfort zone. You gotta be living, breathing, fluid energy that is, you know, the dance floor. Maybe that's not for everybody. That's It's certainly for me. I'm an artist, I'm a dancer, and I've met all of my partners. And all the ones that have been very powerful aligned with me, all through the dance floor, every single one. It's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence at all. But yeah, nah. Do you believe in socialization or being your own boss and not conforming to rules in society and being free? I do. I do very strongly. How did you guess? I mean, I'm a kind of guy that I like to keep an open mind and an open heart. You know, if you're a guy that's like, wow, I love my job, I love my boss, not common words you probably hear a whole lot. I'm not that guy, but I'm saying if you say that, you're like, oh yeah, I love my job, love my boss, I love society. Society. Then hats off to you, my friend. But I've never been that guy. Never been that guy. I swear. I tried. I've had many jobs. I was like, wow, these are great jobs. Most of them didn't value me, like profoundly undervalued. And even now, I work in the film industry, so I'm a freelance contractor, as I'm known by the film industry. You know, I'm a background actor, right? And I can do regular acting too. But the idea is, they hire me. They work for me. My agents work for me, right? I have autonomy. I don't have a boss. I'm the boss in some speak. I mean, not really. I'm not actually the boss, but they work for me. And that's the idea is, in the film industry, yeah, you're not working on a regular sort of contractual basis. And I like that. And even further, yeah, I'm going to be a full-time content creator. Like, I'm summoning this into existence. And obviously, I'm also doing the work. But the reality of it is, my vision to be a content creator is not random. I do not regularly resonate with regular sort of job constructs. I've done them before. I've worked in kitchens. I've worked as contractors, like renovators. I've worked in moving industry for like 5-6 months to help a friend. I've worked in Tim Hortons when that was the first job I ever had. Like, I've worked many regular jobs. And I'll be honest, the last like 3 years that I've been in the film industry, best jobs I've ever worked. And moving forward, grinding out being a YouTube streamer, best job hands down I could ever even envision. But yeah, it's only getting more and more elaborate. But yes, sir, freedom is the model. You have to, like, I'll be perfectly honest, without going too deep on a tangent, I learned this by working in the film industry, as an actor, right? You need to challenge the model. You need to. A lot of us probably don't see this with your own eyes. You may agree with this or disagree, but it is life-changing. I'm going to sit over here. It's life-changing when you begin to start to recognize that you do not need to compromise for anything in your life. Anything, right? You should not fundamentally compromise. Whether that's a job, a martial arts studio, an academic academy, a relationship, you should not be compromising for things in your life. And a job is 1000% the core epiphany or the core center of that. If you think that, my job's okay. It's good. It's not bad. It's whatever. Some people have got to make money. It's the best way. But I think you should always be very open to splitting open and challenging the model of how you receive income. I'm a strong believer in that. Now, let's be real. It's not easy. But this is very important. Let's see. Do you believe in socialization? How long have you stopped taking pharmaceutical drugs? Or pharmaceutical pills related to health? In short, how long have you stayed healthy? Wow, what an interesting question. Well, I'll be honest. I haven't been on pharmaceutical drugs. Like, I have ADHD, quintessential dude that has ADHD. I was on an SSRI from like age 15 to 17. I'm 31 now. Haven't been on an SSRI since. Haven't done any recreational substance for about 11, 12 years. Probably 11 and a half now. So, yeah. I've been honoring my health for about 16 years. Like, when I was about age 15, I had multiple breakthroughs and epiphanies that just organically inspired me to basically do everything in my power to honor my health. I eat clean, I train clean, I think clean, I absorb literature. I basically do everything in my power and have for 16 years of my life. to honor my health. Obviously, I wasn't always like that, but and it took a long time to get to that point. But yeah, dog, pharmaceuticals, I don't know. You know, everyone has their own path, but I'm the quintessential example of a guy that strongly believes in our ability to reprogram our mind without pharmaceuticals. The pharmaceutical thing, I could speak about that for a long time, but we'll put a pin in that. We'll put a pin in that. But long story short, I'm a strong believer that yes, you can take a pill and it might help you. You know, you might have a thyroid problem. You're like, all right, thyroid pills. You know, thioxine. You might have some sort of serotonin deficiency. All right, let's take serotogenics. You know, you'd be like, oh, I got ADHD. All right, let's do some amphetamines. Like, you know, you might think, I mean, there's a time and place for medications, but I'll be perfectly honest, it's a slippery slope. Like, it is one of the most slippery slopes that ever existed. You know, the pharmaceutical industry. You're just like, oh yeah, like, why do the long term, why take 5, 6, 7 years of reprogramming your relationship with your physiological body and making long standing permanent changes in your health when you can just take a pill today or take a pill next week and then slowly, progressively feel better immediately? It's just like, most people just don't understand how to be a student of the body or a student of the mind. Like, this is an absolute core truth. It's unfortunate because even if you take a pill, even if you change your, you know, physiological body, eventually you're going to get to this place where, you know, you will have to make these changes. You will have to actually make lifestyle changes and habit changes to really just address the underlying issue that basically, you know, inspired you or invited you to take this action in the first place to honor your health. All right, we are approaching these crossroads right here. It's a very awkward angle for doing harmonics, but we're getting there. So this is the map, my friends. This is a map. I'm right here. We're probably gonna go about somewhere there. Yeah. This is the way. Appreciate what you're bringing to the chat. Josh is a real Josh Shola. Real MVP. Happy to have you here, my friend. But legitimately, without going on too much deep of a tangent, like, think about this, my friends. This is something I learned when I was about 15 years old. You know, I was like smoking cigarettes, and I decided, I was like, you know what, I think I'm gonna quit cigarettes. I'm gonna start training martial arts. I'm gonna stop smoking weed, stop doing drugs, and be like, let's change my life. And one of the first things I did was study the thyroid. You know, I took a lot of time. I probably spent like 4 months writing down every single thing of information relating to my thyroid, studying my thyroid, you know, writing down potential side effects, potential symptoms of thyroid dysregulation. And basically, one of the core things that I came to realize is sort of what I just expressed. And weirdly enough, this applies to every metric of your health that you can imagine. To correct the thyroid, you basically need to incrementally dial in pretty much everything you can think of that positively impacts your health. So think about it like this. What negatively affects the thyroid? Things like processed foods, microwave foods, frozen foods, various contexts of heavy metals, toxins. All of these things negatively affect your ability to absorb thyroid hormone. And on the flip side of this, what promotes, that is, healthy thyroid hormone regulation and growth? Well, everything you could think of. Healthy, whole foods, exercise, healthy brain activity, naturally things like iodine, selenium, healthy amino acids like tyrosine, so many things. Everything is basically, the argument that you could offer is, if you're a person that's like, oh, my thyroid is compromised, damn, like, how did it get to this place? How did it get to this point? And if you're looking at your health and you're not realizing that you're inherently doing a multitude of things that are negatively impacting your thyroid, and on the flip side, you're not doing the multitude of things that are positively impacting your thyroid, well, guess what? It's probably not your thyroid that is necessarily the core thing. It's not like you're, oh no, genetically I must be dispositioned. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. But the fact of the matter is, there's an array of things that you need to treat that is the underlying thing of why you've got to this point, of why your health has become compromised. This applies to every metric of your health. And yeah, it's a bizarre reality we live in. You know, again, and the simplest part of like, this is what I really like to articulate to people. Like, think about this. This was a mind-blowing endeavor for me. What is the thyroid? For those of you that are familiar, you know, it's a hormone gland, interacts with all your other hormone glands. That's pretty major. That's pretty important, right? But what specifically is the thyroid gland? It is your social interaction gland. Your social interaction gland. That's what it is. You realize that, right? Every dimension of how you perceive social interactions, how you express your voice, this is related to the thyroid, psychologically and physiologically. Think about that, right? We're about to enter a place of many dogs. Yeah, we're in a garden of dogs. Greetings, doggo. So menacing. Whoa. Very menacing. It's okay. Save your voice, friend. It's all good. You're safe. You're doing your job. Doing the dog job. But yeah, no, friends, think about that. Think about that on deepest level. So if you look at your life objectively, and you're like, man, like, I can't express my truth. I can't communicate X, Y, Z. You know, maybe you're anxious at the thought of social interaction. You know, maybe you think you suck at social dynamics. Maybe you do. Maybe you don't. I don't know. Can't tell you. Guess what? There's also probably a great chance your thyroid has been compromised. Like, weird to think about this, right? I can tell you for a fact, I'm a guy that's spent numerous years, like I'm talking 16 years of studying the thyroid to learn to healthily regulate my thyroid. It's not perfect. Of course it's not perfect. But I'm telling you, every single healthy practice that you can even begin to imagine coincides with healthy thyroid regulation and function. And of course, the opposite is always true. There's so many things in our modern society that is negatively impacting your thyroid. So, yeah, food for thought. Food for thought, my friends. You think you might have social anxiety? Probably, who knows? Maybe you do. But maybe you think you're awkward. Maybe you think XYZ of narratives. Guess what? A lot of that could or could not be true. But you could also have a completely compromised thyroid. You know, you could have a very suboptimal relationship with your thyroid, like physiologically, and of course, physiologically impacts the neurological, impacts the psychological. It's just like it all basically is conspiring against you in some regards. Anyways, thank you for listening to my TED Talk about thyroid. Whew. Gotta love walking through forests on an incline while talking about stuff. Big brain stuff. What's the temp there? It's actually quite mild. I must admit, yeah. Must express, it's quite nice. It's quite temperate. Not too cold. Meeting someone artistically gotta be the most romantic thing ever imagine. Telling a story to your kids of how you met. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'll be honest, that's an interesting parallel. I've had partners that are creatively inclined. Lots of my partners are not creatively inclined. Like, you know, they're creative. Obviously, we're all creative to some degree, but they're not like, I don't know, they're not devoted to the creative arts. Like, I've had partners, you know, I've met people that I'll meet you know, that when I practiced polyamory for a period a number of years back, I don't really practice polyamory anymore. Like, I lean towards monogamy. But when I practiced polyamory, I met many artists. And I had, you know, partners, lovers, whatever, that were brilliant artists, like brilliant artists. But strangely enough, I rarely develop long-term relationships with artists. That being said, my recent partner, my recent, paramour, if you will, she's pretty damn creatively inclined. Like, she's a very incredible, I would say, incredible artist in her own right in many ways. But yeah, that's a slippery slope. It's an interesting parallel. Obviously, as a guy that's like a devoted artist, I've always romanticized the idea of like, whoa, like, wouldn't it be super rad to be like, you know, collaborating and rocking out and jamming and dancing. And I dance with all my partners that I've ever had. But, you know, it's like, I've always thought, wow, it'd be so fun to songwrite and creatively, you know, lab with all my partners. And sometimes, yes. And majority of the time, yes. But it's kind of like, if you just limit yourself to thinking that, you know, you romanticize the idea of always having to, like, you know, associate with someone that you think you're gonna just creatively, professionally align with, then you're kind of limiting yourself. At least that's what I've learned a lot. Why, thank you. Would you consider yourself an idealist or go with the flow of life? No, you're being perfectly philosophical. Define idealist. Define idealist for me. Yeah. Because I'm curious of what your definition of that. Because I actually I don't apply or define that exact dynamic. I think I know what you mean by the context of an idealist, but I would love to hear your definition. Josh, appreciate what you're bringing to the chat. Always. Very intelligent individual here. Are you from California? I wish, brother. I mean, that being said, I love British Columbia, but now I'm in Canada. British Columbia, yeah. I'm asking about your health because I've never touched any of those, honestly, since 2019. Not a single one. Pharmaceuticals and subs, very good. I commend you. You and me both, friend. We are one of the rarities. We're one of the rare few that's just like, sober existence, my friends. Let's just raw dog reality, for lack of a better word. That's not my words. That's a friend of mine. But yeah, baby, just sobriety. Like, it's a funny thing. We could talk about this all day long, and I don't think we have all day long. But I'm a strong advocate of sobriety, right? But the sobriety that I advocate is probably not what you think it is. Like, that's the bizarre thing. Is like, you know, I've been sober for 11 years. I love it. I make it work. I thrive on sobriety. That being said, being sober doesn't mean just being like, all right, I'm going to stop drinking, stop doing drugs, and sit at home and play with my cats all day or whatever you think that is. I don't know. My sobriety, I mean, I've been sober for 11 years, so I've got the flow of it. I understand how to do it responsibly, intelligently, etc., etc. But for me, I go to raves all the time. Like, all the fucking time. I go to raves, I go to parties, not like house parties, but like ecstatic dances, and I dance all the time. I have fun, like, all the time. And many people think I'm high. Like, a lot of people think I'm high as fuck. Of course, it's not true, but it's like, but the reality is, just because you're sober doesn't mean you should divorce yourself from celebrating existence. That's a very important thing to emphasize, I think. Well, you know, if we're talking about people that are desiring to not engage in pharmaceuticals, that are trying to live their most abundant life, trying to be sober, trying to, you know, rock this sober experience in their life, you gotta still have fun. You gotta celebrate existence. Hell, the whole point of being sober is to be more present with the things you love in this reality, right? It's not to try to avoid having fun, and, you know, it's just to basically not default into escapism. It's to be present with this reality, present with the highs, the lows, present with the bliss, the ecstasy, present with the pain and the turmoil. It's to be present, right? That's the point of being sober. It's to not escape. Because why? You know, people can be sober and still default into escapism. You know, still be just as lost. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Hopefully they're not. Hopefully they're thriving. But the reality is, what we're trying to talk about is escapism, right? Like, most people, the cardinal reason why doing an intoxicant or drinking alcohol in excess or whatever, right? Why that's so problematic is because you're defaulting into escapism, right? You're trying to escape from reality. You know, you're not trying to be present. You're running away from the present moment. You're running away from the human condition, which is not the point. You know, you're meant to be present to learn from your experience. You're meant to be present to learn and to embrace the human beings around you. Now, of course, we all have different paths. We all have different phases of our existence, but I'm telling you, escapism is not the way. You know, all of us, me and you included, right? All of us, we often are deeply programmed into escapism, right? You know, whether it's our relationship with technology or, you know, our chosen substance of choice, it's like escapism really is something that we need to be conscious of. And again, the key parallel of this is to enter presence. What a beautiful dog. Anyways, not really against medication. It should be emergency use. It's an interesting thing. Like, I'll be perfectly honest. My rule of thumb is we're talking about medication. Like, we're talking about SSRIs, maybe like Lexapro or something, or, you know, amphetamines like, what's it called? It's like Concerta, or maybe Adderall. Adderall I think is a bad idea, no matter what. Like, let's be real. I think Adderall is a slippery slope. But yeah, medications, I think there's an application for it. Like, let's be real here. Like, if we're going to be transparent, there is an application for medications. And here's another strange thing to hear, but it's true. There's an application to most substances. Now, obviously, if we're talking about like commercial things like methamphetamine or something, I don't think there's an application for that. But I know for a fact there is an application for most medicines. Like, you know, most people, I love sobriety. I think it's an intelligent way to really successfully reprogram the mind. But long story short, if there was an intelligent application of, say, most medications, and whether we're talking about a prescribed medication or if people are self-medicating themselves with, you know, some illicit substance, right? If there was an emotionally intelligent application for this, most people do not have the self-awareness to apply it this way. It's the sad reality. Most people, and this is just a human thing. This is not like a person-to-person thing. This is a human thing. Humans abuse things. We are like almost like hardwired to this like hedonistic sort of like, you know, dopamine chasing thing. We abuse things, right? You know, if it's like, oh yeah, if there was an application for something like ketamine, for example. I don't use ketamine. Used it, you know, when I was younger. Something like MDMA. If there was an application for this, people will abuse these things. You know, which obviously there's cutting edge research where people are doing, you know, therapeutic trials where they're microdosing these compounds and people are making breakthroughs in their life. But guess what? Most people are abusing these compounds. And it's a very sad parallel that surely there's an application for pharmaceuticals. There's an application for maybe some sort of elicited commercial substances. But most people, they're not going to find that application. Why? Most likely because they're not a student of the mind and the body. Because that's the thing is like, the difference between most people, you know, say abusing a compound or, I don't know, abusing their neurochemistry versus someone that maybe is a little bit more integrated, maybe self-aware. You know, they see through the dopaminergic loops and siphons and cycles, right, or the patterns. It really just comes down to a person being a student of their body and their mind. Like, you know, this is the weird thing is like, I don't know about you, but ever since I was about 14 years old, I've always been deeply curious to understand the mind. You know, the neurochemistry, the body, all the different amino acids. Like, these are things that I remember telling everybody around me. I was like, how is not everybody just like enthusiastically plunging into this information like their life depended on it? Like, this is the thing that I really believe. It's like, why is this not the case? Why aren't people like diving towards this information about, you know, learning about amino acids and learning about your body and your neurochemistry like their life depended on it? Because guess what? It actually does. Like, it actually blows my mind. As a young kid, that was my mentality, whereas I was like, I literally will spend hours upon hours and can never get enough of trying to study the mind, you know, understand all the different mechanics of dopamine, understand all the different amino acids and how L-tyrosine, impacts things like dopamine and how all the different, all amino acids operate. Like there's just so much incredible knowledge and resources out there. And guess what? All of it's trying to point you to the same thing. It's trying to give you a heightened awareness of how you can basically facilitate healthy neurochemical changes and physiological changes in your body. So even if you say have a substance, it's like, okay, I'm going to be on a substance or I'm going to have a pharmaceutical substance. If you're not being a student of the mind and body, if you're not intelligently differentiating what you need and making intelligent choices based on your own awareness of what you need in your body, then this substance will not do anything for you fundamentally. Anyways, a lot of unsolicited advice. Hats off to unsolicited advice all day long. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of solicited, but I like to jest. Yeah. These are truths, though. I really strongly believe in all these things I'm saying. It's just, it's a lot to process. But health, capital H health. That's what we're talking about, baby. We're talking about making healthy choices, making healthy decisions, and honoring your health. It's that simple. I could talk about this stuff for hours on tangents, but we're talking about just making healthy decisions, making healthy choices. If you can align yourself with that, if you can just look at your life and be like, you know what? Can I make better decisions, better choices? And you probably can, and we all can. Then you're probably doing great. I would like to share my health tips that I use in working since 2011. Beautiful. I would be happy to hear. Your tips, my friend. Fruits. Foods closest to nature. Yes. Yeah, I've been a vegetarian for 12 years. I agree wholeheartely. Vitamin D exposing to sunlight. Yes, Andrew Huberman speaks so openly. You're basically giving the Andrew Huberman 101, which I love. Like, high praise. High praise to you, high praise to Andrew Huberman. So then health, affirmative healing, sleep. Yes, brother, sleep. Sleep is so vital. Like, man, I could go off on this tangent forever, but, we'll keep this brief. I love ashwagandha. I love things like dhammayana. I love natural things that regulate your adrenals. Because these are life-changing things. Because, yes, like in the simplest right, sleep. Sleep is powerful. Sleep is medicine. People like, what's his name? Brian something, the billionaire who's studying, his like longevity, right? This dude, very interesting fellow. Makes very, very strong points about pretty much everything. But a lot of what he speaks of is just about sleep. Honoring your sleep, honoring what you consume, and he goes to an extreme. I mean, he's a billionaire, he can do whatever he wants, but he's right. Like, buddy literally goes to sleep at like 7 o'clock or something, gets up at 4 a.m. every single day. I cannot imagine doing that. That's actually, to me, that's insanity. But that's also super dope. Maybe one day. And advice for gallbladder health. Wow. Advice for gallbladder health. Advice for gallbladder health. Advice for gallbladder health. Well, I mean, surely not something I think about. Maybe something I should think about more. But in general, your gallbladder health is deeply related, likely, to your diet. Deeply related to the probiotics and the gut bacteria that's in your diet. Like, these are almost like me intuitively connecting a few dots. And to my experience, it's been life-changing to just basically integrate live bacteria cultures. Not saying that's the answer, but to me, I've been actually eating a lot of sauerkraut. Actually, it's what's it called? Live bacteria culture beets. That's my favorite. I really like that. It's really good for the gut. I eat that like twice a day. But yeah, I don't know. Gallbladder health. I'll be honest, that's not my expertise, unfortunately. Not that I'm an expert in any of these things. I'm just an expert on myself, I would say. But yeah, damn, makes me think. All I know is like gallbladder health. Gallbladder health. Interesting. Yeah. That just disarms me. That disarms me full swing. What's good, Floyd? What's good, brother? Welcome back to the Canadian forests of Western. We're still here, baby. Hour 46 going strong. I'm probably heading back home pretty soon, to be honest. Probably gotta charge my phone. Oh yeah. Phone charging time. Hey, Mom Handle, if you got time, you go through Natural Cures by Kevin Trudeau. Very interesting. Very interesting. Beautiful. What a gem. What a gem. Shout out Jashola. W. W's in the chat. I don't think people are going to leave W's, but I'm going to say it anyways. Sorry to be here. That's some weird, what's the word? I don't even know how to describe that. So you're sorry to be here. That's a you problem, my friend. You know, you don't have to apologize to anybody, but if you're going to apologize, you know, to yourself, that sucks, bro. It's all good. It's all good. You can be wherever you want. Don't have to apologize for your presence, dog. Amazing human, enjoying nature and music. Felines, have a great day. Wow. Wow. Dude, that's... How do I get this? How do I get this audience? This is crazy. Like, you guys are legendary, bro. Blessings from Canada to France, brother. Honestly, we love French. We love France. I've actually spoken openly how deeply I'm enamored with the French culture. I'm enamored with the Japanese culture, probably like high tier. Like that's probably one of the most highly revered cultures in my mind. But of course, French culture, like French food. I've actually practiced a French prop called the sear wheel, invented by a French guy. And yeah, the roue wheel, like the roue wheel, but it's also known as the sear wheel. Beautiful prop. It's a circus prop that I've been enamored with. So I just love French. I love the French culture. Define an idealist. Well, I think I am one. An ideal world. I'm a perfectionist, a dreamer. I see. Idealist. Okay. I guess. Okay. In some contexts, you could say I'm an idealist. But also, I'll be perfectly honest, I'm not an idealist. Maybe there's a part of me that I portray and agree in an alignment with an idealist perspective, but I'm not an idealist. I'll be honest, I don't know exactly what I'm a very like interesting splice. Like philosophically, on the deepest core, if we're trying to like identify the dynamic that I am philosophically, I definitely resonate a lot with Taoism. Like Taoism is probably wow. I need to drink water. Shout out water. No, but I think I resonate a lot with Taoism. Like my deep core belief, like if you're stripped down, a lot of my like my core, I'd say, beliefs and the way that I operate in the world. Like truly, you look at it very objectively. Like, okay, what's this guy? How is he making his decisions? How is he aligning and making larger decisions? And how is he like operating in this world? I'm very resonant with Taoism. Now, that being said, I am a product of modern society. You know, I'm a 31-year-old dude who's a musician. I'm an athlete. I'm a dancer. I love society as a whole. And I'm a very, what's the word? I'm a very, like, penetrating individual. Like, you know, you see me, when I'm on these streams, I'm kind of just like, you know, I'm memeing it up, I'm laughing, playing guitar, I'm having fun, right? You know, I'm speaking some philosophical truths, I'm holding space, right? But if you observe the way that I operate in the world, I'm like I'm almost like a penetrating force in nature. Like I'm very ambitious. I have like a very like almost like what's the word? The way I like to look at it is I have an indomitable will. Like I have a very strong willpower to succeed. And not in the success way that you think, oh, I gotta win, make money. No, I don't give a shit about that. But it's like, I'm on a very deep quest for truth. And this is also why I align with Taoism, because I believe in a deeper dimension of truth. And I feel like I'm more interested in the quest of experiencing and discovering and understanding truth. You know, where the world's gonna go, I don't know. Like, I think the world, like, if we look at like the metaphysical philosophy of how things are, the world is what we are. The world is what we make it. The world is what we align ourselves with. We're looking at the quantum theory. Everything's always forever. You know, everything is basically materializing every second that we believe it to be. then why would we want to believe in a idealist world? Like, we could, if we really think that everything is like, beautiful bliss and rainbows, and that's the direction life has to go. Beautiful, so be it. But I mean, obviously we're 3D beings. We're in a 3D world, right? We are humans. We're human beings, and human beings, we are flawed. We we are thrusted into the chaos of the universe, right? We're 3D beings. We're polar beings, right? We're living contradictions in many rights. So an idealist world, I don't know if I see the world as an ideal sort of thing, but I think it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful nonetheless. Like, I think the yin and the yang, the positive and the negative, I think the dualistic polar dimensions of what this world is all beautiful. We've just maybe for some reason lost the ability to appreciate it, to appreciate the beauty in the darkness, to appreciate the beauty within the polar realms of what we're here to experience. Because in a larger perspective, like in an astral experience, looking into this human experience, it is all perfect. It is all beautiful. Like, why would we want to separate and be like, oh, but the world needs to be this. The world has to be this way. It's like, no, no, no. We're here to learn. We're here to extract and understand all of this. And of course, human to human, like human to you, human being me to human being you. Like, if we're speaking from a morally cleansed and ethically aligned lens, yeah, of course, I would love for everyone to, experience bliss. I would love for everyone to experience truth. I would love for my family, my fellow human beings, my community, the people that cross my orbit or orbit my path. I would love for them to experience as much love and bliss and ecstasy and happiness as humanly possible. But also, we live in a 3D reality. We live in the human experience. Not all of us are going to get that. It's kind of like we are the makers. We're the creators of literally everything. We and we alone. Like, it's like we are the entity that is constantly materializing everything. So it's kind of bizarre. Again, a lot of what I'm saying is kind of a mind fuck, but it's like if everything is just a neutral entity, if we can picture an ideal world, guess what? The ideal world is an ideal world where we're all free to have willpower to live out this human experience in all of its imperfections. Because like in this world where, all of us are free to have free will to just live out, this human experience, our karmas, if you will, right? Not all of us are going to have that ability to penetrate the programming. Not all of us are going to see how much power we have as beings. Not all of us are going to reclaim our autonomy. We can hope that we put out ripples and we awaken other people and make other people, experience happiness and bliss. But this is a polar realm. This is a 3D reality. Not everyone's going to be able to awaken on that path. That being said, though, there's hope. There's bliss in what I'm saying is it's been known by, if you study the law of one, right? I found this very interesting, is think about it like this, and I'll summarize kind of what I'm saying very briefly. From what I understand, if we observe what the law of one is speaking to, right? Basically, we are in the universe, right? We're on Earth, we're a ball, a rock, floating through space, right? No, that's Earth. It's on a giant web that is the universe. Like the cosmos is a giant like web, right? And in this web, this network, is energetic frequencies. And apparently, according to the law of one, this last 100 years and 100 years and beyond, we've been going through a shift in consciousness. And it's not obviously us as human beings that are doing this. This is the larger network, the web of vibrations, if you will. This kind of cosmic web that's happening on a grander, larger scale. This is what's shifting. We're shifting basically from 3D to 4D to 5D eventually, right? So basically what this is saying is humans as a whole are going to shift to a higher vibration. Now, this is going to take a long time. This is going to take time. But the idea of what the law of one is basically emulating is that we're going to shift to a higher vibration, whether we want to or not. And everyone that does not align with this higher vibration is going to be cycled out. The last 100 years and before was in the 3D. You know, we are rooted in the 3D. We are the 3D, the split, the polarity, right? But once we enter the 4D, as the universe is shifting into this higher vibration, this is where we begin to enter a higher vibration, as is the 5D and beyond, where that's where apparently the universe is unraveling to. This is at least what the law of one believes. So, as much as, sure, we're in the 3D right now, we can hold a philosophy and a philosophical bend, but, I don't know. Things maybe will just get worse before they get better. Yes. Brian Johnson. Really smart. I believe sleep is so important. He is a smart guy. I have to say, since seeing him do a bunch of mushrooms and, you know, find his wife and do all these interesting things that kind of just like penetrated the weird abnormality that was him. Like, he seems like a good dude, but he also seems like a weird dude. But he's now living his best life. So, you know, hats off to Brian. But yeah, he's a brilliant researcher. He's bringing very good stuff. What's going on? What's going on, Apu? I'm good, brother. We're just in the forests, you know? Hands are a bit cold. Probably gonna make our way back. Spiritual journey is a journey that explores the inside of us. This is when I realized, who am I? Why am I here? To, in spite the fact that everyone comes and dies. That is a powerful, beautiful thought, brother. You know, why are you here? But you are here, right? You know, why are you here? Isn't it like, what odds, what an anomaly that you're here? And you are here, so it's beautiful significance. It's profoundly significant. Like, how vast is this universe? But then the fact of the matter is you're here. Like, you may hear that and you're like, wow, that's almost like a cliche kind of thing that people say, but what an absolute truth. Like, the absolute truth of how rare of an anomaly it is that you are here, you know, in this universe. The fact of all these different things unraveling, you know, all these different parallels and factors unraveling, and then here you are, existing at this time and place. Like, it's actually astonishing how rare that is to just be in this planet, in this world. It's a thing that people kind of just say with a grain of salt, but it's actually true, right? Wow. I gotta check out this song Nutshell by Alice in Chains. I've had that requested so much lately. It has to be a really good song. We're back on our way. Back on our way inside. Doggo. So much dough getting. I need to drink water. So we are the universe itself, a conscious point. Each consciousness is a conscious point. Yes, sir. You get it, my friend. You do get it. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. We are a conscious point. Like, that's the idea, is we are the creator. Like, it's like energy itself requires directivity. Like, it's direction. It's like the moment we direct our energy to something, you know, it's like focus. We focus on something. We make something become. You know, the moment that you draw your attention to something, it becomes. Like, think about that. In the quantum reality, it's the fact is, the second you focus your energy, think about that, you're materializing something. You know, it's becoming the second that you see it. We are the focal points that make things occur. It's really crazy, but it makes perfect sense. Like, it's just like, you know, the second I look in this direction, here is this leaf, right? And that we go and navigate it, and we choose to direct our energy into it. Yeah. It's a beautiful thought. It's a beautiful thought. Because then when you realize the infinite nature of that, like, you know, it's like, then suddenly you see that everything has infinite potential. Speak a lot of sense. Awesome, thanks. Heck yeah, thank you for listening, Rain. Thank you. I feel clear. Yes. Beautiful. Well, I think we are now, as we approach this 2-hour mark, we're gonna put a close to this stream. Yeah. We're gonna head back inside, charge your phone, make some food, you know, reach out to some beautiful human beings, connecting, and we're back. But yes, all I can say is thank you so much for being here with me today. Yeah. You know, these last days, without a shadow of a doubt, I've seen the algorithm bless me with more engagement, with views. Just in a place where it's like immediately, you know, my goal right now is to attain 4,000 watch hours very naturally. And yeah, I feel blessed to be able to move towards that path, to, you know, enter monetization, to enter more ambitious and high quality streams where I'm able to just create this portal and create a really dope community. So yeah, bless. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Rain. We are apart from the universe. We are part of the universe itself. It's absolute. It's absolutely true. It's absolute. It's a beautiful reality. Like, all of this is just powerful. It's exciting truth. It's exciting truth. Like, we have so much ability. We have so much power in this universe. Like, you know, I think the core fundamental loss, the core fundamental fragmentation, the conditioning, the programming that a lot of us unfortunately are operating out of is we forget. We've forgotten how much power we have in this reality. You know, we think we're powerlessness. We think we're not free. But that's the opposite, is we are full of capability. We are full of freedom. We are full of power. Like, we have so much more power than we could ever even begin to imagine. And that's kind of the core remembering, is to recognize that. Be like, like, we can't even, like, to see, if you really saw the depths of how capable and how much power you have over your reality, again, it's just like, it would just be monumental. But of course, this dominator culture, society at large, they profit heavily from you not recognizing that. They profit heavily from being like, no, you're unconscious, you're nothing, you're this, that, the other, you know, you're just trapped. You know, society profits greatly from you feeling trapped, from you feeling powerless. But it could not be further from the truth. You know, all the modern philosophers, they speak of this very openly. You know, the key is to return to the power of individualism. You know, Terence McKenna has beautiful, beautiful speeches all about this. Yes. Yes, sir, we are in the outside. It's a beautiful day. Let's see. My phone is pretty low. Looking at pretty low. Amazing. Absolutely. Thank you for being here, brother. Thank you for being here. I try. I just live and breathe, baby. Make guitar sounds, sing songs, expands the brain. It's good times. But yeah, thank you so much for chiming in. I think we're gonna exit this stream now, approaching the 2-hour mark, and go home, make some food, go for a run, charge this phone, because we're at 10%. Phones are on the way out. So anyways, thank you so much for chiming in. If this content resonates with you, feel free to subscribe to this channel. Yes, we're on the road to 10,000, baby. Kind of seems surreal to even say that, but yeah, we're on the road to 10,000. We're not really close, but we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there in the next couple months. But yeah, deeply appreciate you guys being here. Much love. Bless. Ashe. Remember to honor yourself and honor each other. Much love.